had many, many, many massages from,
Right.
you know, many different people.
Right.
So finding the right person is like a huge thing. So,
Well,
but
cool. So,
it's an obstacle.
so finding the right person, or at least searching for the right person, is, at least the fear of finding the right person is an
Yeah.
obstacle.
Yeah.
Okay. And would you call that something that, was it just the thought of reaching out and finding somebody, or was it the risk that you took to
I think it's the risk.
engage?
So having had so many massages, I recently was complaining to you about another massage I had gotten,
Right.
is that, you know, it's like, you know, if we were talking about like other obstacles, for me at least, it's like time and money.
Right.
And time is like a huge thing lately, you know, with 2 kids and,
Right.
you know, Dave working.
Right.
I have no time, you know, like the only time I'm free is like 9 o'clock at night
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to bed. So so I guess it was an obstacle, like being able to find someone, because you're not just like, oh, I'll try this person, I'll try this person, I'll try this person, because you don't have the time and
Right.
the finances to just do that.
Right.
So, but what I love that you did, I mean, we met at the farmer's market, was that you were giving kind of like a sample of what you were doing. And I had like a 10-minute chair massage from you, and I was like, this is amazing. I'm sold. And then I reached out to you.
Yeah.
Or did you reach out to, I don't know. No, I
No,
think
you reached out to me. You were in your second
yeah,
trimester with
yeah,
Charlie,
yeah,
and Ayla came along and had a little massage as well.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
kind of fun. And
She
and
still talks
then
about it.
that's great. We'll have to give her another one this summer.
Yeah, she loves it every time.
So that was a really terrific way to connect.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest result from using Dharma, or working with me?
I mean, for me, like immediately, well, again, like you said, we met when I was like 4-5 months pregnant.
Yeah, you're in your
And
second trimester, right?
I mean, second pregnancy, I was having the worst sciatic pains.
Right.
And I had kind of never even like thought about massage for pregnancy before.
Yep.
You know, it was
Yep.
kind of like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. But then, I mean, there was like no hesitation to coming to see you, because, and I get, this is like, sorry, I'm probably skipping ahead on the questions
Well,
here.
you felt comfortable.
Well, I felt comfortable. And one thing that I love about you is I love your knowledge of things, like the
Thank
knowledge
you.
of, I know that sounds so silly, but even when you're like working, massaging, you're like, this is, I mean, I can't repeat any of it because I don't know anything about the body, but you're like,
That's
this is
right.
the lumbar, something. And it's so hard too. I mean, you get people that kind of just give you just like the whatever massage, but a big thing is like you can go into someone and say like, hey, I have like really bad neck problems or back problems. And what I loved about you is that you're like, oh, you're very tense, like here and here and here. And I almost didn't even have to tell you
Right.
what was bothering me. You like,
Right.
you felt it and you knew it. And that's that's a big thing, because it's kind of like, oh, this guy is able to recognize that and then address that. So
Right. So what would you say was of all those things that you mentioned, what was the sort of the specific feature that you loved the most?
I just love so many things. I mean, the massages themselves, I don't know if that's a good answer.
Well, if I recall, you're in your second trimester, so you were dealing with sciatica. So we were working with your, not to get technical, but we were working with your psoas, we were working with your piriformis. We were doing some sideline work on you.
Yeah. Well, you were able to give me relief, which was like, I think that was my favorite part. I would come in like literally limping into the office because I was in so much pain. And then by the time I left, you were able to do what you do. And I was able, I had that relief for however many weeks. And then when it'd flare up again, I'd come back in and see.
So relief was the biggest benefit that I would think a couple things.
Absolutely.
So you reiterated like knowledge. You wanted to know a little bit, even though you can't remember, but you knew that I wasn't just some crackpot out there slapping light lotion on you.
Yeah. So no, sorry, go ahead.
And that helped you feel comfortable. That helped you feel as though I was knowledgeable, and allowed you to feel as though you could trust the environment and trust me as a practitioner to help find the challenges in your body to alleviate the pain that you were feeling.
Absolutely. And nice. You weren't just like, you go to so many massages and it's like the same routine. It's like, they do their like whatever rubby thing, and then they rub you down and then they do massage, like you didn't do that. You didn't necessarily have this, just like, you weren't just going through the motions. You were like, oh, we're going to like really focus on like your back today, or like your neck or your shoulders. Right. And I really appreciate that, but you'd still get to the other parts of the body, which, and that's something for me too, that I've learned, that I'm like, oh, like my legs don't need to be worked on. And then when you work on them, like, oh my God, my legs are so tight. So, but I appreciate that you would address what you felt. Like you weren't just like going through a routine. Right, you were actually working on the specific needs of, in this case, myself.
So you had the unique experience of having me work on you when you were pregnant, and then my work on you after the pregnancy. So can you talk about that a little bit? What allowed you to, what inspired you to come back after the pregnancy?
Well, that's like the other thing. Yeah. And I think I told you my last pregnancy, because I love massages. Like if someone offered me a massage on the street, I'd be like, sure, massage me. But I had gotten a massage after I was pregnant with Ayla, after I gave birth to Ayla. Right. And it was like months after, like I didn't like hop back into it. I thought, and I have a very high pain tolerance. I felt like I was being tortured, like physically tortured. It was like the worst experience ever. And so, but I have to say, like with you, like I know how you work. I like trusted you. And I think that's another thing too, is trust. And I have neck problems. And so like people working around my neck, working in that area, I get a little like antsy that they're gonna like hit me the wrong way and everything's gonna go wonky. But I was actually excited to come in because, your body takes quite a toll after giving birth and pregnancy. And I was excited to get back in there and have you do your magic. So sorry, I forgot what the question was, but
no, it's okay. And somebody said to me once, and I don't think it was you, but I think it was somebody else, that when they experienced the session afterwards, she came in, she goes, wow, that was a I felt so honored being with you and being in experiencing your therapy, your practice. And that was like, wow, that was really cool.
Also too, I started with you when I was pregnant, and there's a lot of things you can't do with a pregnant woman.
That's true.
So it was like it was like an even better experience being able to like get a legitimate massage from you the first time that I wasn't, there wasn't a baby inside of me. So that was even better. That was great.
That's cool. So would you recommend Dharma Massage Therapy?
100%. I'm on so many Facebook groups, on like moms groups online, and people are always like, oh, I'm like X months pregnant in my back, and I'm always, call Mark. He's the best.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
No, I would definitely recommend you. I've tried to get a bunch of people, Susie, gone in to see you. I've tried to get people to come in and see you. So.
It's a tough sell. I've heard, and I experienced this as a salesman too, that sometimes it takes 3 invitations to get somebody to finally decide to move
actually, now that you say that, salesman, I have to say that is something I always appreciated about you, is that like I hate being like pitched to, and I hate being like put under pressure about things. I was always just like happy to come see you anyways, but I appreciated that about you, where you keep in touch with people, and you're very genuine, and I never felt like you were like, all right, like let's make the bank and just like get you in here, and I always appreciated that about you, because it's like it puts a bad taste in your mouth when people do that.
You didn't feel pressure.
No.
Nice. So, anything else that you'd just like to add besides that? That was beautiful.
I mean, I know I just like talked about like so much stuff. I'm like, what else about Mark? I like what was that?
Why don't you tell everybody about your experience in the studio? Because you've seen both studios. You saw the
Oh my gosh, the studios are. I love both studios. That's another thing too. Is like you go to people's places, and it really affects. Like obviously, if you were getting a massage in like a basement, you're not gonna like feel very relaxed. So the atmosphere is like a huge thing, and I love your atmosphere from like the second you walk in. This sounds like so silly, but it was like very, and I mean this in a nice way. It was very like, I don't know, like Pottery Barn, West Elm. Like it's just like it was very nice. Like I felt it was like very high end. No, I was actually like putting down the key points. Another one was like the comfort and relaxation of just my surroundings.
Nice. Okay. So you felt aesthetically, it was pleasing and comfortable and safe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Safety is such a big thing, when people feel safe.
Yeah. And even during, I've had multiple massages from you during COVID. And I know people are hesitant about that. But I felt very safe with you and your atmosphere and, all your precautions and all the stuff that you were doing. So that was never like a question of like, oh, this doesn't feel safe,
Right.
So
cool.
I appreciated that.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Mae.
You're just the best, Mark. You really are. You really are.
You have one coming up.
What?
Don't you have one coming up? Yeah, you have one. Well, we're not. Hold on.